For this project, we're going to be using some cream burlap, some twine, some painter sticks, and some lavender or salvia, whichever you want to call it, purple flowers. Now that we've got all of our supplies, we're going to bring it all together for our darling farmhouse spring project. Start by lining up 6 painter sticks next to each other so you can get the width of our sign that we're going to be making. And then with a pencil, mark the other painter stick that you want and cut it down. Now I'm using these cropped scissors. I forgot what these things are called. I'm going to link them down below, but I want you all to know they are not easy to use, and I had to go back and forth with a piece of wood a few times to get it to cut. Now I will say you can cut it better with that versus a pair of scissors. So, you know, I guess you have to kind of weigh your options, but that particular tool, it is a very hard tool to use when you're cutting through these painter sticks. It's great though for popsicle sticks. Now you can see that I used some wood glue and hot glue to bring it together. I painted it white. I did a little bit of distressing, and now we're going to come in with a piece of burlap. I doubled up 2 pieces and I'm gluing them together, and I'm just going to fray the ends ever so slightly. And before I put on the pocket, it's so much easier just to add your florals first. So I'm going to cut my florals all down from the pick that it's originally on, and then I'm going to glue them all on. I love to have a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, so I'm bringing in all these different colors and tints and textures. Then I'm going to add a little bit of Spanish moss that's peeking up out of the pocket. And then I'm going to add on that pocket that we made with the white or cream, whatever you want to call it, burlap. Go ahead and glue that down into place. And now we're going to move on to the next part, which is adding on some ribbons so we can hang it up. You can skip this part if you don't want to hang it up, but this would be really beautiful hanging up on a hook somewhere, or even like a dresser if you like to layer and stack up your decor pieces. Now I'm coming in with some push pins. I like that they make it look like grommets, so I just hammer those in. And then to finish our pocket with the front, I did a twine bow by wrapping around my fingers a few times, tied a knot in the middle, and then it just snipped off the extra ends. I found these amazing stickers at the Dollar Tree in their scrapbook craft section. Friends, these stickers are super textured and they're heavyweight. So I thought, let's get a frame, some scrapbook paper, some scrapbook stickers, and let's make this into such a darling mini topiary in a frame. Start by taking the back of the frame, trace it onto a piece of chipboard or cardboard, whichever you have on hand. Go ahead and cut that out, and once you've got it cut out, we're going to use that to start mounting all of our artwork too. You could technically use the backer of the frame, but I feel like the quality of it is just a little bit too flimsy, so I wanted to make sure I doubled it up. You could also use a cereal box. That is another great way to get a hold of cardboard, a chipboard, nice piece. I'm now gluing that onto a piece of scrapbook paper, and you're probably thinking, Heidi, why are you sticking that right in the middle of that scrapbook paper? You're wasting so much around the sides. I actually wanted to get to the text that was like right in the middle of this paper. I wanted that to be on this actual artwork. Don't worry, I always keep my scraps and I'll use it for something else on another day. Now I'm going to use these border stickers, and I wanted to make sure they hit at the right spot. So I'm going to just use my pencil to mark where I know the bottom of the frame is hitting. And then I'm going to line my stickers up on that. So that way I can see those stickers coming up from the bottom. This is just a fun way to bring in stickers, to add in some more texture, some more pattern. I love scrapbook stickers. I love scrapbook stickers. I love it so much I said it twice. Then I'm going to just store it away. I always try to clean up as I craft because if I don't, I will have a mess. And I know you know what I'm talking about. If we don't clean as we go, it is so easy to just cause our craft rooms to explode. I'm now going to stick that back inside the frame, lock it in with the little metal tabs, and then we're going to flip it over and pull out the stickers. Friends, these stickers, oh, if you can get your hands on them, I'm telling you, I love stickers. I've now said that 3 times in this video. But these stickers are so cool. There's texture to them. When I saw these when I was shopping at the Dollar Tree, I grabbed them immediately. Oh, they're so cool. I want to make sure it's raised up a little bit because we are going to be putting a craft stick. You could use a popsicle stick, which would lay a little bit flatter, but I really wanted to use a craft stick. So I'm going to just cut that down. I'm adding on foam tape so it can balance out the height or the thickness of the stick. And then that's going to be able to lay on there nicely onto our frame. You can see right there from this angle how it's raised up some. And I'm just using foam tape. Then we're going to take a piece of foam, a round ball that I get from the floral section at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut it in half and then ever so gently, I'm going to kind of gut out the middle just a little bit so that way the stick will lay perfectly right inside that groove. Now we're going to come in with some of this green moss. I'm going to just glue that all over and then give it a haircut. This part is a little bit tricky just because you can burn yourself, so just be careful. And then glue it down onto the stick. When the little topiary top went onto the stick, I was so excited and fell even more in love with these stickers, these little urn stickers. They're so cool. Then I'm going to put the word welcome at the top. You don't have to do that. You could do your family's name. You could say hello. You could put spring, whatever you want to put. But I just wanted to put the word welcome because it's going to go at my front entry of my home. I decided a little white ribbon around it would look beautiful, so I tied a bow. And then to finish the look, I added on these push pins to make them look like grommets. And it looks so high-end and so farmhouse cool. I was in the Dollar Tree this week and I came across this brand new mirror at the Dollar Tree. Oh my word, it is so beautiful, so high-end looking, and it's just $1.25. We're going to pair that with a chess game. That's right, I said a chess game. Now, I normally go to Hobby Lobby for my little finials so I can use them for legs, and I realized that we can use these pieces from the chess game as legs for our project. So I'm going to just come in, pick out 4 pieces that are the same. I'm going to add on my E6000 and my hot glue, and I'm going to pop these on the bottom of this mirrored frame. This is going to allow it to look elevated and turn it into a high-end looking tray for just pennies. Such a small budget for this project, and it looks so beautiful when we're done. I'm just going to do that for all 4 legs. The E6000 is going to really lock it on. Hot glue over time will just pop off. But when you're done, style it how you want in a bathroom or in your living room. It looks so beautiful and so high-end with a chic farmhouse look. We're going to be using these supplies, this wood round tray from the Dollar Plus section, this wood round from the craft section, a finial and a spindle from Hobby Lobby, and then this glass jar. Friends, the other day I was here in my craft room and I was looking at this wood tray and I wonder if I could pop that bottom out. And then I realized that I could, and it popped out so easily. I'm gonna just pop it out, sand off some of the glue that's kind of chunked around where it was glued together. And then I'm going to mark it for the width of this circle. We're gonna cut out this middle piece. I was so giddy when I realized that this wood is so easy to cut with these miter shears. Do you see how easily it went through? I have so many ideas now because these trays are so fun to use normally without thinking about taking them apart, but now having a wooden ring that I can get like this. Remember when everyone was making this decor using Hot Wheel tracks and they were trying so hard to get these pieces to come together? We are using actual wood because of this tray and they can come apart so easily. You can see here that I cut off those pieces that I measured. I'm bringing in that hot glue. On the back side where there's a crevice, I'm going to bring in some wood glue to really bond it and lock it well. And then I'm going to come back in with hot glue again to make sure it's holding very nicely. Now we're going to move on to the top. I'm using the spindle. We're adding hot glue and wood glue, a nice amount, but I always try so hard to not let them collide. The wood glue will cool off the hot glue, so you have to kind of work fast and don't let them touch each other. I put together the spindle with the finial, making the topper of this. And then while that was all drying, the glue was bonding together, I'm now just using some water. I spritz it on top of this tag. These tags on the glass are really stubborn. I know you can use a heat gun, but I personally am not a big fan of using a heat gun on glass. You just never know. You just never know if glass has been tempered or not. I don't want it to shatter on me, so I'm going to just use my scraper and my water. Now I'm going to paint the entire thing black. I didn't show this part because I didn't know I wasn't recording, but I drilled a tiny hole and I took a curtain ring that I took apart and I just put it right inside. I didn't drill all the way through the finial, just a little bit of a entrance for the ring to hook onto. And then I hooked that on. You don't have to do that part, but I really did love that ring, so it's up to you. Now you can see that I'm just doing a little bit of distressing. I'm adding on some cinnamon. I love working with cinnamon in my craft room because it makes my room smell really good. That gives it that rusty look with a little bit of black paint and cinnamon. To finish the look, I'm adding in a wreath, the glass jar, and a candle, and you have a high-end farmhouse piece with the most random Dollar Tree items. This project is so easy, and I thought, how cool would it be to make this little tiny palette and these little spindles? How cool would it be to bring them together to make a riser for a candle, or I don't know, whatever you want to put on it. But for me, I'm particularly thinking a candle. I just think this would be so pretty to elevate a candle that would just normally sit on the table in a fun farmhouse way. These little spindles, by the way, they're from Hobby Lobby, and I get them when they're on sale. They have their wood section go on sale, and that's when I pick up all my finials, my spindles, my little wood pieces that I wish I could get at the Dollar Tree, but they don't carry these there. Now I'm going to give the whole thing a coat of white paint after I glued on the spindles using hot glue and wood glue, making sure they were nice and locked in. When you go to paint it, make sure you get the inside and the outside of the entire palette. And then to give it that farmhouse look, I'm going to do a little bit of light distressing, and that completes an easy project, so fun to make. I found this beautiful faith sign at the Dollar Tree. I loved the colors of it. I'm going to also use this other sign because I want to use the base of it. And I do have these 2 half wood rounds, but I'm going to end up going a different direction. I'll show you in a minute what I mean. Start by taking your faith sign and this other sign. I want to bring them together so that I can allow the faith sign, instead of it being a hung up sign, we can get it to stand up. So I'm going to use some hot glue and some E6000. I'm going to stand it up, straighten it out, get it to the height that I want it to be, and then I'm going to glue it into place. I love when I come across signs like that at the Dollar Tree. It might not necessarily be my style, but I love that I can mount another sign on top of it and upscale a sign that I see that I really do like with something that I don't like. You can see that I put down those half wood round beads, but I ended up not necessarily needing to do that. If you don't put the greenery and the bow at the top, you can end up just stopping with the wood beads, but I wanted to dress this up and make it a little more farmhouse, so I'm adding on some greenery. I'm adding on a black and white gingham bow. After I got that all glued down into place, then I'm going to come back in with a twine bow, which is just a whole bunch of loops and knotted in the middle. And then I'm going to just glue that right down. Now at this point, it's just so darling, but I decided to button up the project by putting on an actual button. So I found this fabric cloth button that I've had on hand for a while. I'm going to pop that right in the middle, and we have a beautiful sign for our home.